You do it before your brain even registers it happened. Someone smiles at you across a table and your lips move. Someone tilts their head and yours follows a second later. Someone crosses their arms, and within moments, without any decision, without any awareness, your arms are crossed too. You didn't choose any of it. You weren't even watching for it, and yet your body was already responding, already reaching toward that other person, like some invisible thread had been pulled tight between you. This is called the chameleon effect, and it is one of the most revealing things your nervous system does. Most people assume imitation is something children do, something deliberate, something a little embarrassing if you get caught doing it as an adult. But the science tells a completely different story. The science says you are built to do this, that the impulse to mirror the people around you is not a quirk or a habit. It is a deeply wired survival system running quietly underneath every conversation you have ever had. The real answer to why you do it is far stranger than you expect. It starts before you are born. Inside the womb, your nervous system is already learning to synchronize. Your heartbeat begins to match rhythms. Your movements respond to sound and pressure. You arrive into the world already primed for a very specific task, not just to perceive other humans, but to resonate with them, to physically echo them, to close the gap between your body and theirs in the most literal sense possible. In 1992, a team of neuroscientists at the University of Parma made one of the most consequential accidental discoveries in modern brain research. They were studying a macaque monkey's motor cortex, the region of the brain responsible for controlling movement, when they noticed something no one had predicted. The neurons that fired when the monkey reached for a peanut also fired when the monkey watched a researcher reach for a peanut. The monkey wasn't moving, it was only observing. And yet its motor system was responding as if it were the one performing the action. These neurons were named mirror neurons. And the researcher leading the team, Giacomo Rizzolatti, spent the next decade mapping their implications in human brains. What he found changed how neuroscientists understood perception itself. Your brain does not just watch other people, it simulates them. When you see someone reach, part of your motor cortex activates, as if reaching. When you see someone wince in pain, the regions in your brain associated with pain light up. When someone laughs, the circuits that generate laughter in your own body stir to life. You are not a passive observer of other humans. You are running them inside yourself. But here is where it gets deeper. Here is where it stops being just about neurons and starts being about survival. Your ancestors did not live alone. For hundreds of thousands of years, human beings lived in small groups, tight bands of 20 to 50 individuals, in constant physical proximity, completely dependent on each other. There was no such thing as navigating life solo. If you were expelled from your group, you died. Not metaphorically, not eventually, almost immediately. You needed other people the way you needed water. This created an enormous evolutionary pressure, not just to find other humans, but to bond with them, to build trust fast, to communicate alliance before there was language refined enough to say it. And one of the most powerful signals of alliance you could send was this: I am like you. When you mirror someone's posture, when you echo their vocal rhythm, when you slow your speech down to match theirs, you are broadcasting a signal that bypasses language entirely. You are saying, without words, that you are attuned to them, that you are safe, that the threat detection system they are running at every moment of every social interaction does not need to trigger. Tanya Chartrand and John Barg at New York University demonstrated this in a landmark 1999 study. They set up a series of interactions between participants and Confederates, people who were secretly part of the experiment. In some interactions, the Confederates were instructed to mimic the participants' posture and movements. In others, they were instructed to remain neutral. Afterward, participants rated how much they liked and felt connected to each person they had spoken with. Consistently, participants reported liking the people who had mirrored them significantly more, without having any conscious awareness that the mirroring had happened. You don't notice when someone is doing it. You just feel warmer toward them. You just feel, somehow, that they get you. This is not manipulation. This is biology. Your nervous system was tuned across tens of thousands of generations to detect resonance, to read physical alignment as social alignment, to interpret bodily synchrony as emotional safety. But the chameleon effect goes even further than posture and gesture. It reaches into your voice. There is a phenomenon linguists call phonetic convergence. When you spend time talking with someone, your speech begins to drift toward theirs. Your vowels shift. Your consonants soften or sharpen. Your tempo adjusts. Two strangers who spend 30 minutes in conversation will often end their exchange sounding measurably more similar than when they began. This happens most strongly when you like the person you are talking to. It happens most strongly when the social stakes feel high. And it happens, crucially, most strongly when you want the conversation to go well. Your voice is not just expressing what you think. It is reaching toward the other person's frequency, trying to lock in. Psychologist Howard Giles developed communication accommodation theory in the 1970s to explain this phenomenon. He found that the degree to which you mirror someone's speech patterns is directly tied to your desire for their approval and your perception of their social status. You accommodate upward, toward people you admire, toward authority, toward those you want to impress, and when you feel threatened or dismissive, the mirroring collapses. People who deliberately speak in a way that diverges from the person they're talking to are almost universally perceived as cold, hostile, or arrogant. Your speech style is constantly broadcasting where you stand in every room you enter. Now here's the part that tends to stop people cold. The mirroring is not just a social signal. It is a mechanism for actually feeling what another person feels. When your body physically adopts another person's posture, when your shoulders round the way theirs do, when your breathing slows to match, when your hands find the same position, your brain receives proprioceptive feedback. Information from your muscles, your joints, your skin, and that feedback influences your emotional state. This is related to what psychologists call embodied cognition, the idea that the body does not simply carry out the brain's instructions, but actively shapes what the brain concludes. When you force a smile, you feel slightly better. When you adopt a slumped posture, your mood dips. When you hold your body in an open, expansive stance, your confidence measurably increases. So when you unconsciously adopt the body language of a person in front of you, you are not just signaling empathy, you are generating it. You are climbing inside their physical state and producing a version of it in your own nervous system. You are using your body as a translation device, converting their inner experience into something you can feel from the inside. This is why mirroring and empathy are so tightly correlated. People who are high in empathy are high in unconscious mimicry. People with conditions that impair social bonding tend to show reduced mirroring behavior. The chameleon effect is not a side effect of empathy. It may be one of its core mechanisms. And this opens up a question that researchers are still actively exploring. If you feel what other people feel, partly because you copy how they hold their body, then are you ever really feeling your own emotions cleanly? Or is every social experience a blended signal, part yours and part theirs, the product of this constant low-level resonance between bodies in proximity? There is one more layer to this that almost nobody talks about. The chameleon effect is not indiscriminate. You don't mirror everyone equally. Your brain calibrates the intensity of the mirroring response based on something very specific, how much you want to affiliate with the person in front of you. In a study published in 2005, Rick Van Baren and his colleagues at Radboud University found that mimicry is increased significantly toward people who belong to our in-group, our perceived social tribe, and dramatically reduced toward out-group members. Your body is quietly sorting every person you meet into categories. People who feel like they belong in your world get synchronized with. People who feel alien to it don't. This means the chameleon effect is not just a bonding mechanism. It is also a map of your social biases. The mirroring reveals who you unconsciously want to be close to, before your conscious mind has finished forming an opinion. Tonight you are going to meet someone, or sit across from someone you've known for years. And without any decision, without any awareness, your body's going to begin drifting toward theirs. Your head will tilt, your breath will slow, your voice will find their register, and it will feel, just as it always does, like nothing at all, like just being present with another person. But now you know that this nothing is actually everything, that the most ancient part of your social brain is running full speed beneath the surface, doing the same thing it has been doing since long before you had words to describe it. You were built to close the distance. You just never noticed how early it starts.